I'm Jonathan Larson with TYT Investigates, and I wanted to tell you about a new bill in the House from Congresswoman Barbara Lee of California. If you're not familiar with her, she was the one person to vote against the Iraq War back in 2001. Her new bill would cut up to $350 billion from the Pentagon budget, which is set to be upwards of $738 billion in this coming year. I want to read to you a statement from her office that she put out this week. She says, quote, "For years, our government has failed to invest in programs that actually keep our country safe and healthy. The prioritization of defense spending and the underinvestment in public health has led to 10 times more deaths from COVID-19 than the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. By over-prioritizing the Pentagon and military solutions, our country is drastically underprepared for any crisis that needs a non-military solution." She continues, "We cannot continue to prioritize funding for a department known for its waste, fraud, abuse, and failure to pass an audit, especially when the money to, quote, protect national security is failing to protect our most vulnerable citizens. Our foreign policy has been militarized to the point that we must repeatedly resort to military solutions for non-military problems. People expect Congress to focus on those threats most likely to harm them, not waste their money on expensive weapons designed for the wars of yesterday, while the most potent threats to Americans struggle to attract funding. Redundant nuclear weapons, off-book spending accounts, and endless wars in the Middle East don't keep us safe. We all want to provide the best for our men and women in the armed services, and especially at a time when families across the country are struggling to pay the bills, including more than 16,000 military families on food stamps. We need to take a hard look at every dollar and reinvest in people. It's time to cut weapons of war and prioritize the well-being of our troops, anti-poverty programs, public health initiatives, and diplomacy. Congress needs to prioritize our safety and our future, not more war." As I mentioned, the bill would cut up to $350 billion from the Pentagon, including closing U.S. military bases overseas, ending ongoing conflicts, scrapping weapons programs, and entirely eliminating the new branch of the military invented by Donald Trump, the Space Force, which, by the way, he has talked about having an offensive capacity. Like literally, for the first time, just talking about a branch of the military as something we can use to attack people rather than for defense. Now, next week, the House of Representatives is set to begin, and I'm taking this from an article on Common Dreams, by the way, and it's tough to get. It's not out there, right? Have you heard about this before? No. I'm guessing no. The House of Representatives next week is to begin marking up the National Defense Authorization Act, you'll hear that NDAA, for the next fiscal year. The Senate version calls for $740 billion in military spending. Senator Sanders, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, has proposed cutting that by 10%. Barbara Lee's resolution, of course, goes much, much farther. And one of the reasons I wanted to share this is because our military approach, right, to everything, to the world, is a big part of the problem in the world, right? Where do we think terrorism comes from? It comes from people responding to our military footprint being everywhere. And where do we think our current focus comes from in terms of our policing, right? We've militarized our police because we've taken this approach that fear has to drive everything and that security has to be total. So if you're not hearing about Barbara Lee's resolution, then that's something you need to let your media outlets know about, or find new media outlets. And again, it's Barbara Lee of California. If you're interested, you can go to her webpage, get more information about it, and let her know how you feel about it one way or another, as well as let your own representatives know how you feel. Anyway, take care. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you don't already, I hope you'll like our page, subscribe over on YouTube, follow us, all that stuff. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.